We're now into workshop 2, the second of 2 workshops that we have. And then this stage, we're talking about the page on 4 reasons recruiters throw out your resume. And these are really some important areas that you need to be aware of if you're not already. First of all is that you are eliminated by the applicant tracking system. We've got a special video or separate video on the applicant tracking system. You need to watch that. If you're not using a new resume, a fresh resume that works with the new job posting, you're probably going to be wasting your time. I use the story that one time I saw somebody on LinkedIn. They'd been out of job for 9 months, and they had sent out or downloaded 500 resumes and got 4 responses. The reason that they probably got the 4 responses is he was sending the same resume out every time. You're going to have a very frustrating period of time if you just use your same resume, because most people are going to be using an applicant tracking system or trying to, what you want to do is match what your skills and experiences are on your resume and your cover letter with the job posting. Once they understand that you did that specifically for them, there's more likely that you're going to be called in for an interview. Second of those, you oversold yourself. And I use an example of an individual that I was working with, and she didn't get the job. She came in second. And she was very upset because she said that I did everything that I've asked. And the problem was that she probably oversold herself. If you end up using all the different tools for one employer or potential employer, it may wear them out. They may say, wait a minute, I'm just going to go with something that's easy because there's just too much information here. So I would just suggest that you step back and say, what are going to be the most critical tools out of my toolbox or passport to employment that I'm going to have a better opportunity of getting a job or at least getting an interview. The other thing is your resume doesn't match your online profile. That basically means your LinkedIn account. And what you need to make sure, it doesn't have to be specific, but you need to make sure that everything that's covered under your LinkedIn is going to be similar to what you're putting on your application or your resume and or your cover letter. You didn't quantify your value. You need, before you go into any interview, you need to quantify the value you have. Now, when I say value, that means monetary value, but it also means that you have the skills and experiences that are necessary. I use the example of an individual that was at Passport, and he was having a little difficulty. And he had an interview with an organization, and they said, we just can't pay you what you're asking. But they did put him on for a 2-week period of time because they had some things that were definitely needed to be done quickly. So what did he do? He did the job. He went to work for him for 2 weeks, just a contract. But in the contract it said, once I find a job, I'm out of here. There's no 2 days or 2 weeks notice. I'm just going to have to pack my bags and leave. Well, I saw in that 2 weeks when he was working as a contractor that how important he was and the kind of things that he was doing for their organization. In this case, it was a nonprofit organization. So before the 2 weeks was over, they came to him, and not only did they give him what he wanted, he got more. Why did they tell him 2 weeks before that we can't afford you, and less than 2 weeks afterwards, they were able to say we can pay you more? Because they understood his value, and he was able to tell them what that value was. The last one is resumes are useless without this, and we've talked about this a little bit. Studies show your resume needs to be 6-second worthy. So what we're doing here with our T format, our cover letter and resume, all these different tools, is because you need to prepare a 6-second resume, because that's the average time that an individual is going to spend on a resume. A reader, any reader, whether it's HR, if it's an assistant hiring manager, the hiring manager, whoever it might be, they have about 6 seconds. So your goal, one of your main goals, is to take the 6 seconds away from everybody else so that you keep the 6 seconds for those people, so that an individual reader has plenty of time to go through it. And that's one of the keys. So always remember, I'm building a 6 second worthy resume.